Because we have a very special, spooky episode for you. I hope you have proper candy. I like chews. I like to chew on stuff. So these fruit Tootsie Rolls are a great one. What are you having for your beautiful Halloween treats?
Big fan of red vines.
Wow, we usually have a jar of them here. My brother loved them. I love them. Not a Twizzlers fan.
No.
Red vines. And let me tell you something. Always free. Made in the United States, artisanally, from day one. Great snack. I am guilty of not having them today because my daughter has become a great fan of them. She is smashing through them, dude.
Ever since the movie E.T. came out, and I think in 1982, Reese's Pieces. I love them.
Dude, and cookies? Do you have the cookies?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, those are great. I remember when those first came out, I didn't know what to do. Because you had all the peanut butter and none of the chocolate. You're like, wait, what happened? So that is where we jump off today. A bunch of Zuzu loving kids hanging out, smoking fruit ass, doing acid sometimes with friends. And man, they love candy like I love candy.
Zuzus.
Loving the candy. So, where do we want to start with candy and the kids?
I think we brought it up before, but Charlie and Susan Atkins dropping the Zuzus, right? In Shoshone in the graveyard. Yep. Thinking of it.
Oh,
Perfect.
wow, didn't even plan that.
Yeah, so that's, I think, our first Halloween reference.
Yeah, good.
Right? Another one that is often been talked about is the Helter Skelter party that happened during the trial.
Oh my goodness.
Right? That was supposed to be a dress-up party hosted by the Free Press. They invited Billy Oates. He was walking down the hall. He had an office in that building. So the bench, come on by. Ronald Hughes made an appearance. You had a couple, I think Linda Joyce might have been there.
Woo! Funny, salty gal.
Yeah.
Love her. That's James Dawson's favorite there. Linda Joyce, she loves her.
Up on the wall, they had Tex Watson's quote, alleged quote. Say it.
The devil, and I'm here to do the devil's work.
And we're going to pop up on the screen right now. Here's the invite to this party. That was, yeah.
Positively revolting is what it was.
So what do you think about that? Do you think that was really tacky? Do you think it was a bad look for Billy O.C. to show up to that or anything?
I think about the times when you can be so chauvinistic and such a jacket, and people actually would go for it. Like, he's an assertive, dominant leader. Cut that shit now, man. You show up crassly mocking the defense in one of the largest, and at that point, it was the largest, most public trial, not of its time. It eclipsed the most shocking thing ahead of that I remember was the whole Badlands thing. That was pretty heavy duty. That got a lot of play at the whole, reaction rebel without a cause. These wanton teenage killers set free in automobiles. It was like all this car thing. Like, you give a kid an automobile and it's unlicensed.
The Doom Buggy Battalion.
Oh, we love Ed Sanders. The people that were the subjects of these grand tales oftentimes were true victims, and the ones that are alive will suffer the weight of being victims of these accounts. But, dude, as a reader, as a fan, as a popcorn crunching weirdo who loves some sensational hype, whoa! Like what we were saying about the thing last episode about the Hendrickson studio being such a front and it looking like, oh, it's Long Ranch, and these people are sitting around with these guns. Like, that shit was all props. Those guns didn't even work. It was a bunch of guys. It was a work of fiction. Those weren't their knives. They didn't go up with fucking knives and start saying shit. It was all scripted. How did they start singing a song in perfect unison? It was all scripted. So again, this is all part of that. And the reflection of that was the most metropolitan, sophisticated city in the entire world, this megalopolis. Its lead prosecutor in this case, Mr. Vincent Bugliosi, lowering not just himself, his office, the authority of the jurisprudence in general, and really lowered, I think, the standards of the morals of Los Angeles County, and thereby everyone in extension. And I thought, I don't know, I would have such conflicted feelings about the case when I was younger because the semantics of that would weigh on me, but I didn't understand why as a kid. Because I was a member of society who was being called out by Charlie Manson and these people. You, the eyes of society. As our man said, good old Steve. It's a really ugly thing to be an observer who's sympathetic to elements of this case and realize you're just as guilty as anybody.
The first time I saw that photo, it'll be right here on the screen, was actually during TLV Radio, one of their shows. Brian Davis, Donna Laufenberg put it up, and just seeing Ronald Hughes and Bugliosi in that photograph, was really disgusting to me. Right?
It was repulsive.
Yeah.
That's the thing here. I'm not big for retractions. I'm not big for anything like that. I stand by my word. But I did throw a little net out for a girl Allegra simply because, bro, free net? What are you talking about? I only throw it out to special sheshes. It's a very guarded secret. But when she, let's ask you then, okay, I was a bad guy. Bad guy. David Butter said, put that show a bad guy for hire. Seriously, you want me to be bad? So, what is your take on H. Allegra Massey, author of More Than a Story? It was a continuing podcast with excellent production values. Now, what do you think about her dressing up so distastefully, to me, as Susan Atkins in the 21st century, bro?
I love her as a person. I think that was probably a bad stage choice on her behalf, as was some of the other costumes that other podcasters have worn over the years, you know. I don't want to put it all on Allegra, and we do things, right?
It's a thing that happens.
Yes. And we're guilty of it too at times. This is a serious case, and at times we make a little bit too light of it. But as Stoner Van Houten says, laughter is part of the healing.
I want to thank my dear friend Stoner. That guy's the best.
So, I think we should explain a little bit what we're wearing today. So, you guys might think that I'm an ice worker here. I'm actually honoring my dear friend, one of my examples in this podcast community, the co-host on Van Styler's show. Our man, the Van Beckham, Mr. Beckham. So today I am a vet, and this is on behalf of my brother. I love you, man.
Mr. Beckham, you're awesome. You're a stalwart. Thanks for sticking by, everybody, as much as you have.
I wish I had those white glasses that he had, though.
Dude,
Those are perfect.
you imagine showing like, dude, you scare people like that. But yeah, way back Stoner up, and has really been there for Vance Tyler. It's pretty hot stuff, man. So thank you very much.
And his wonderful girlfriend's a big part of our support for the show.
His girlfriend?
Yeah. Yeah. You know Shelly? Shelly Roselle?
Wait,
Yeah.
man, this thing.
She's been with us since the very beginning.
Oh,
Shout out to her.
well, that's really cool. That's this whole thing. Again, I'm constantly humbled by this. I really love how much we're able to be together because these wonderful, wonderful people keep reaching out and making themselves available and educating me personally and showing all this great kindness. And I'm just hoping that as this occurs for me, I'm able to bring some greats out of the woodwork. Like we were talking about on the way over here in the cover. Mr. Good old Don, as he's well known. I want him to start coming back. I want some of these people who got a little burnt out of the whole internet Manson, whatever you call that, and just start having some fun again. Because this, on Halloween, I want to really show some thanks because it is a day that will always be special. And we've got some more stuff. But the first one you were talking about, let's go back to that previous to the Bugliosi story. You had something else we were talking about. What was that?
In regards to that story?
No. Just
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in this case that's a little witchy, right? There's that quote in itself, which oftentimes has been attributed to Charlie. I think it was more a fabrication of Yana the witch. I think Linda Kasabian came up with that. It's right in her wheelhouse of the type of stuff that she used to say. And when after the murders happened, when she was on that road in David Ham's Volvo driving out to Albuquerque with these two young passengers, she told them, "I am Yana the witch." So they were, I think, a little creeped out by her.
So when she comes with that kind of energy and said that, now was she the first person who introduced this phrase into the courtroom? Where was that first quoted? Do you know? Leave something witchy.
Yeah, no, that's a cloudy area for me. Okay, yeah, I've just heard that others in the family have basically said that's not something Charlie said, that's not something he would have said. It falls right in line with what Linda was about. Linda, I think, was into, I don't know if she was into Wicca per se, but coming from that Boston, New Hampshire area, right? She's deeply entrenched in the witch
Culture.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting. Like,
Yeah.
the first time I visited Lynn, and I've been through Sleepy Hollow. Wow, that was something really cool for me because I read that Washington Irving piece time and time again. It's one of my favorites, Legend. Sleepy Hollow.
I'd love to visit there.
That's incredible, man. It's all there. The Tappan Zee, there's the Tappan Zee Bridge. Just seeing the references on a map, it was incredible. I was Googling the whole thing while I was up on the train. And the train trip from New York City to upstate, it's like all the movies. It's like you're visiting the one you're carrying on romance for. And you're calling.
Hallmark.
Oh, dude, on the left-hand side, you want to go north. The trip south is not as good. The trip north is awesome. And you just get a great view, and you're right up on the water, and you're at Schenectady and all these places. But I think Yana's presence, and her saying that, like you say, became such a cultural touchstone for so many people. They'd be so bummed. But they didn't think it was real. That I really admire Charlie and his theatricality. Because if it isn't true, let's just go with that, because we'll never really know, so we can't accurately take a stance on it. But he's known for saying, "Shit, I said it."
Yeah.
So I just love his attitude, you know what I mean? Yeah, leave something with you. Meaning, if you're going to do something, do it well. Leave a good sign and let the world know you're there. Okay, let's just look at that as life advice. Fuck, that's pretty good, right? Like,
Absolutely. And if somebody was to leave something with you, it'd be Susan Atkins, right?
of course.
Let's go back to 1966,
Yes.
57, right? And her being a part of the Witches' Sabbath.
We're
Right.
Sabbath with the Church of Satan.
And so there she is, topless, coming out of the coffin, right?
Do you imagine if Nicholas Shrek could have been there? Renounced to Judaism and been there? Oh, Barry would have busted like so many different directions. Photographs from that electrolysis. Finishes Dennis Wilson's dinner work on her.
So there's a photo, I believe, that you can find on the internet of her coming out of that coffin. Yeah.
Which is why there's no Manson Family pornography. Sorry. Don't after kids, because if this photo popped up, guess what? Charlie Manson, Thrones in the Hog would have showed up by now. So that's pretty interesting. So Linda Kasabian is someone I roundly and sadly love to throw under the bus any chance I get. Now, her flip-flopping of all these female power moves and then acquiescing to male figures when she needed protection really makes her a double-speaking, snake-tongued kind of loser to me. You know, it's really hard to accept somebody like her in light of somebody like Lynn, who just took the fattest of all realms. Now, I just think women like her, in a different vein, Catherine Gypsy Cher, I think she was a badass too. And then got on with her life.
Yeah, Linda, was already a part of a huge commune, right? The Fort Hill community, Mel Lyman's commune, back east. She had an
So then he came to Mexico and LA.
Yeah. Her arrest background was already extensive by the time she met the family.
And all the notes were about her being fairly hard-boiled, very worldly and streetwise.
Yeah. Very savvy in the drug game, selling, dealing, right?
We spoke about the sophistication of her, and there was Blackbeard Charlie, and her husband, Bob Kasabian, who were at least conspiring to have an international drug ring where they were the ones doing the actual physical smuggling. It's incredible. And there she is, somehow testifying on behalf of the prosecution. No one has anything to say about this?
Yeah. And after she gets this immunity deal, right, and she's off the hook from these horrible murders, right?
Horrible.
She's back east, and she's becoming a part of the motorcycle club.
She got away.
Oh yeah.
She got arrested.
She's going full on Belinda Haynes style, right? Waffle House pancakes style.
Wow, just repaired our bridges with this poor woman. You really did say that about her, huh? I mean, you're a rough piece of work. I love you. But yeah. So, let me just say again, Laconia, the largest, longest running biker rally on the East Coast. She's in front of 50,000 people, according to this paper. To be believed. And if you look at their attendance records, that's about right.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just there, flashing tit repeatedly. I mean, how many times do you have to throw titties at a biker rally to get arrested? Like, they literally sell T-shirts that say, "Show your tits." Okay? How do you get arrested in one of the world's largest biker rallies for doing said titty showing? Like,
she got arrested because the milk's gone bad, in those things, man.
Are you trying to quote the great film Soylent Green? One of the most doom-ass lines ever repeated? The margarine has turned. Dude, Charlton Heston? That shit was brutal, dude. That was the culture of the time.
Yeah.
The kids are watching Moses look into the camera and talk about this dystopian, shitty future that feels really close.
Yeah.
Kind of like we're living in now. And that's what he says. The margarine is turned. I just thought that was, well, shit, the margarine is turned? That is a really fucking shit place to be, people.
So sticking with the Halloween theme, let's talk about 1967.
Shall we please?
This is a rumor. I don't think it actually happened, but it's out there. Charlie's hanging out in the Sunset Strip, and he meets Grandpa Munster.
Grandpa Mustard? No, is this Grandpa Mustard telling the story?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard this one.
Yeah, he says that Charlie and Susan Atkins watched his son, or grandson or something, babysat for him.
That's some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Well, right up there with Stephen Parent's three-headed, goat baby.
Please, let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's pretty Halloweenish.
Yeah.
Now, Stephen Parent had not really availed himself to the press, understandably.
Oh, yeah, Garrettson.
Yes, I did. And those two.
Yeah.
Yeah, Garrettson, great lord. But it was in relation to Parent because, the things he said later, and that's what, man, I jumped to Parent because when you brought up the other thing from that broadcast that used to exist, about Parent being killed last, like that was just such an interesting idea that they sat there, listened to 10 minutes of drug-fueled arguing, and then a murder, allegedly. So you hear, if you think about that couple being killed on the grass, what it sounded like, even if you hadn't heard the people get killed inside the home, right? You have this whole situation going down, and they're gonna make a mad dash for the fucking car.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna go for the Rambler, really? Or are you gonna hunker down, or would you just face the cliff and the bramble?
You take your chances going down.
Yeah, just do the Brer Rabbit.
Yeah.
Grab a leather jacket and some gloves and a motorcycle helmet,
Yeah.
and just hit the fucking bramble.
It's going to hurt a lot, but...
A lot less than what you just heard Abigail Folger take, praise God. So, that being said, man, Garrettson, what a tough road to hoe. So that must have weighed terribly on his psyche, because do you believe some of the revelations previous to, him just becoming totally crazy with some of the things he said? Let's just review the early stuff.
He had been drinking that night too, so we don't know how inebriated he was, but he was scared out of his mind. You're right. There's a lot of psychology at play. And he, being terrified, writing letters, basically saying goodbye to your loved ones and friends.
Now,
It's heavy.
that's true, right? Because these letters have surfaced.
We read the letters. That's 40 LAPD documents.
Right.
That's what the letters. Yeah, so he's terrified, he's hunkering down in that guest house, not knowing when somebody's going to actually make their way in. He saw the door handles wiggle. He believed that one of the killers was outside.
I think that actually happened.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I think he was walking down
seriously?
into the hallway, and he looked over and he saw it.
Oh, now he had to hear some shit. Like the letters, what he talked about, having heard. Now, could you tell us what that was, just to clarify?
Oh, I just know that he was writing letters to his friends and loved ones.
No, but he was hearing everyone be killed, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he heard Abigail Folger yelling, I'm already dead. Yeah.
Now, when did he come out with that? What was the time frame of him revealing that?
Well, that, I believe, was in the next day, or August 9th polygraph examination.
So he was pretty close coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then later on it was with Brian Davis that he actually did the interview where he talked about after the murders occurred, but that same night or early morning, two guys showed up in suits, almost sounded like feds, showed up to his door and they were holding this baby.
Right.
And he held this infant, right? And from what he sounded, it sounded like he wasn't sure if that was Sharon's baby or if that was like some other baby, but he said that it had a third eye, an eye in the middle of his forehead. It's pretty wild.
Well, then there was the whole thing about some weird people showing up with like sexual action with some sort of weird baby. Is that the same baby, or are we talking about different babies?
I don't know, but I know what the funny part of that story is that years later he got scammed. I'm talking about in the like early 2000s. He got scammed by a woman who told him, "I was that baby. I'm Rosie Valinsky. You know, I'm the daughter of Sharon and Roman."
Did she claim to have a third eye?
I don't know.
My third eye changed when I was about 7.
She moved in with Garrettson for a while.
Were they carrying on, or she was moving in for the?
I don't know.
But doing this scene.
Thankfully, people don't know about this out there because you're chaste people of clean minds and sound souls. But underneath the seamy underbelly of the Manson broadcasting world, there are certain people who bump uglies and do really nasty things that are kind of shocking and surprising. So the idea of some little scammer moving in with Garrettson and potentially like hooking up with him or something like that's so flipping on brand.
And I've been trying to get a hold of her for a while on Facebook. Rosie Polanski.
Rosie Polanski.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Whatever. I mean, you can try to pull a Mr. X on us. I'm definitely gonna be looking for a third eye.
Yeah.
It could be a brown eye. Yeah, we'll investigate. You know.
So another one to bring up, and Channels has talked about this on his show, the Back Porch Tapes.
Our boy Michael Channels.
That Charlie used to often tell him, "Man, the way the media hypes me up, I'm like Dracula." Like my story just keeps getting wilder and wilder in the media and how they present him, to where he's become this legendary, mythical cult leader. Larger than life. And so Charlie said, "Someday, maybe after I'm gone, but I'm gonna be like Dracula. I'll live on forever."
Dude, that's so crazy. Think about everybody now who already has Charlie tattoos. Like a lot of these people have Charles Manson tattoos. That's just so heavy.
Yeah.
Crazy shit. But you know, I appreciate some of Michael's takes on things because I feel like maybe he's taken a little bit too literally sometimes. He's got an odd little sense of humor. It's actually pretty good if you get to know him a little bit, but you gotta understand his speech patterns, his cadence, and his delivery, and that he's got a pretty damn good heart, and I appreciate his generosity again. The letters he reads are the things I'm always coming back to. He's got some really informative stuff, and maybe we'll polish out some of his tendencies to say things like Manson's natural manipulative techniques, stuff like that. We can just maybe do without that.
Tell me about this look you got going on today.
Look at his sunglasses! I have these big old goofy Porsche design sunglasses, like these little powder blue with these colored fades that were supposed to be very kind of, I'm in the jet set.
Yeah.
I could have slid up on CLO for a half mile. Yeah, I blew it with the sun.
Man, you guys are gonna have to tune in next year.
And check it out because, oh man, I didn't know my shades are over.
Get up.
Before we get going, let's start it. I mean, 50 episodes. This is quite, I mean, can you believe it?
It's a milestone. It's a tribute to the dedication and excellence of producer Alex.
Thank you.
Dude,
Appreciate you, man.
it's gonna be coming out, and we're gonna be watching these films. I keep hoping one of you people, look it up and say, I know, $500. Save us $500. We want to bring a special guest in who we're not paying. We're just gonna cover
Airfare.
and that's about it. And this person is very well known, a very well respected journalist here on YouTube with an absolutely massive presence and huge following that'll mean a great deal for her to be here because we respect, love, and admire her very much. She's been a great mentor to us, and we're glad to know her. We're hoping that we're going to be able to bring her here. So, one of you dudes, kick down the $500. If you can't, still what you can. We love y'all! Have a great time and
Happy Halloween!
ooh.